In Kenya, every household has tea every morning, and tea must have milk.
Africa isn't announcing its digital future with noise. It's building it quietly, piece by piece, far from the spotlight. And if you weren't paying attention to what happened in Conakry this year, you might have missed the moment the continent subtly shifted direction. For 3 days, heads of state, ministers, and innovators gathered not to repeat familiar speeches, but to shape a new reality. By 2030, Africa wants to function as a single digital market, not as a hopeful idea, but as a working system already underway. What made this summit feel different wasn't the scale of the event, but the seriousness in the room. People spoke like they had deadlines, not dreams. Projects were described as ongoing work, not future aspirations. You could sense that something had changed, not loudly, but decisively. And it forces a simple question. Is the world ready for a digitally unified Africa? Let's find out.
For years, the global tech conversation was dominated by familiar giants. Silicon Valley in the United States, the manufacturing and digital hubs of East Asia, and Europe's regulatory powerhouses. Africa, despite its innovation, youth population, and massive markets, was rarely viewed as a unified digital force. That perception has now changed. This transformation began with the signing of a multi-nation agreement establishing the African Continental Digital Alliance, ACDA, a framework connecting Africa's digital infrastructure, data policies, broadband networks, cybersecurity protocols, and cross-border tech industries. 54 countries are finally merging their digital power. No more isolated data markets. No more fragmented digital rules. No more barriers that slowed innovation. For the first time in history, Africa is building one interconnected digital ecosystem. To understand the magnitude of what's happening, we need to look at the raw numbers. Numbers that have stunned global analysts. Africa has over 1.4 billion people, the fastest growing youth population on Earth, over 600 million internet users, some of the highest mobile adoption rates in the world, a tech sector projected to exceed $700 billion by 2050. Until now, much of this potential was scattered, divided by national borders, patchwork regulations, and infrastructure gaps. But with digital unification, those limitations are dissolving. Experts compare this moment to the formation of the European Union's digital single market, the rise of India's massive ID-based digital ecosystem, the explosive growth of China's tech networks. Except Africa's version is bigger, fresher, and more flexible, built in an era of cloud computing, AI, blockchain, and high-speed connectivity. And unlike older systems that require expensive upgrades, Africa's emerging network is being built with modern tools from day one. The world has rarely witnessed an entire continent aligned digitally. But behind Africa's transformation lies a simple truth. The future runs on data, and Africa holds some of the world's richest data opportunities. This shift began slowly. Then it accelerated at monumental speed. Massive investments poured into subsea fiber cables, cross-border fiber routes, 4G and 5G expansion, rural broadband, local data centers, green energy-powered server hubs. In the last decade, Africa went from having only a handful of major fiber connections to hosting more than 15 of the world's largest subsea cables. Several nations began implementing advanced digital identity systems, streamlining healthcare, payments, services, and education. The new alliance aims to interconnect these systems, creating a continent where citizens can access digital services anywhere, regardless of national borders. The Digital Alliance Agreement didn't just encourage cooperation. It aligned all members under a unified cybersecurity standard, unified data privacy rules, unified digital business laws, unified cross-border payment protocols, a shared digital innovation zone, a continent-wide 5G expansion roadmap, AI development partnerships. This is what analysts now call the digital merge. One online market, one digital standard, 54 contributors, one massive opportunity. As news of Africa's digital unification spread, global powers responded with a mix of excitement, curiosity, and strategic calculation. The United States. Tech CEOs called the move the world's most important emerging digital ecosystem. Investors from Silicon Valley have already begun exploring partnerships, funding incubators, and expanding cloud service regions. China. As one of Africa's longtime digital partners, China sees the alliance as both an opportunity and a strategic shift. Several major Chinese telecom companies have accelerated infrastructure proposals. Europe. The EU expressed interest in aligning data protection practices with Africa's unified regulations. Analysts predict new trade and tech agreements. India, Brazil, and ASEAN nations. These rapidly developing regions see Africa not as a competitor, but as a collaboration opportunity, opening the door to South-South digital partnerships. Global tech community. Developers worldwide are looking at Africa as the next giant app market, the next major fintech region, and the next global innovation hub. In the world of technology, attention means investment, and Africa is now attracting it at historic scale. All African citizens and businesses now fall under one unified framework for digital trade, cross-border e-commerce, digital taxation, online business registration, intellectual property protection. A startup in Senegal can now operate seamlessly in Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa, without facing 54 separate regulatory systems. A harmonized set of data privacy rules means data can flow securely across borders. Cloud services can operate continent-wide. AI development becomes easier. Cybersecurity responses are coordinated. Companies face unified obligations. For global businesses, this removes huge barriers. African cybersecurity agencies now share defense protocols, threat intelligence, forensic teams, emergency response centers. A cyber threat detected in Morocco can be neutralized in seconds across all member states. Perhaps the most transformative element, a continent-wide instant payment system linking banks, mobile money platforms, fintech apps, national payment switches. This allows someone in Ghana to send money to Tanzania as easily as sending a text message. No currency barriers, no slow transfer delays, no complicated conversions. Africa's youth population is exploding, and so is its tech talent pool. With unified digital infrastructure, AI development accelerates through shared datasets, unified compute resources, distributed training centers, continent-wide innovation labs. AI models can now be trained using multilingual African datasets, fueling a new generation of locally built technology. While infrastructure and policy form the backbone, Africa's true digital power lies in its people, especially its young population. Over 60% of Africans are under age 25. This makes Africa the world's youngest continent, the world's fastest-growing digital user base, the world's next major labor and innovation hub. In cities like Nairobi, Kampala, Accra, Lagos, Kigali, Dar es Salaam, Tunis, Cairo, and Johannesburg, young developers are building apps, startups, and digital services that are solving real-world challenges at scale. By merging digital ecosystems, Africa is unlocking the potential of millions of talented minds, now connected under one system. Economists are calling this initiative one of the most important economic transformations of the 21st century. Analysis from global development agencies estimates that Africa's unified digital market could generate $300 billion in new digital trade value, millions of tech jobs, thousands of startups, a massive boost in e-learning and remote work, higher investor confidence, a stronger position in global tech negotiations. And that's just the beginning. With the continent digitally connected, investors now view Africa as one massive market, not 54 isolated ones. This changes everything. Prices, competition, service availability, job creation, and global tech influence. A digital superpower isn't built on agreements alone, it's built on technology. Africa's transformation accelerates through 5G networks, digital identity systems, blockchain for public services, AI-driven logistics, green data centers, cloud-native infrastructures, mobile money dominance, edtech and skill platforms, remote work hubs. The continent isn't copying old models. It's leapfrogging, reaching advanced digital solutions without the legacy limitations faced by older economies. No transformation of this scale comes without obstacles. Africa must address infrastructure gaps between rural and urban regions, reliable electricity supply, balanced regulation, cybercrime prevention, ensuring fair access across all communities. The digital divide, capacity building for governments and institutions. But for each challenge, Africa has an equally large opportunity. And unlike previous eras, the continent is now building solutions collaboratively, not in isolation. Tech entrepreneur, Kenya. We've always had the talent. What we lacked was unified access. Now the market is open, and the future is limitless. Software developer, Nigeria. With a single digital market, I can build one app and reach over 1 billion users. That's power. Student, South Africa. This is bigger than internet access. It's about shaping Africa's identity in the digital age. Economist, Ghana. Africa's economic rise will be built on shared digital value. Collaboration is now our greatest resource. Africa's transformation shifts the global balance in ways many didn't expect. The internet will change. App developers will now design systems for over 1 billion new unified users. Tech companies will adapt. Global giants must now compete with rising African startups operating across a continent-sized market. Data will become more diverse. African languages, cultures, and markets will reshape AI and machine learning datasets. Geopolitical influence will grow. A collective Africa will have a stronger voice in tech governance and global standards negotiations. Beyond economics and infrastructure lies the most fascinating outcome: the rise of a unified African digital identity. A shared space for art, music, entertainment, gaming, digital fashion, creators, content industries, tech communities. For the first time, creators across the continent can collaborate seamlessly, share audiences, and influence global trends under one connected system. Africa's Digital Merge ISN, a finished project. It's the start of a multi-decade transformation that will evolve in stages. Art. Analysts predict future developments such as a continent-wide cloud network, shared AI ethics frameworks, interconnected digital universities, a Pan-African digital currency, expanded robotics and manufacturing hubs, large-scale digital agriculture networks, broadband access in remote regions, AI-assisted healthcare across borders. Each milestone pushes Africa closer to becoming one of the world's most influential digital regions. A continent once digitally divided is now stepping onto the global stage as a single force, ambitious, innovative, confident, and united.